in.
Good to see that 5-car get redemption there from last night. It's good to, when you get DQ'd in a race car, and I've had my fair share of disqualifications, but he didn't let him, his team didn't, they didn't give up. They fixed the problem, and hopefully, they're going to the tech barn again, and that's the first thing on his mind right now as a racer. Man, I hope Darlow lets me go today, but it's real easy to give up in racing whenever you get DQ'd and get discouraged and get beat down. But, that team, he's got a great team and a great family behind him in that number 5 car. So they didn't give up and got in.
MT3, Michael Taylor III will be on the pole with Dan Hovden on his outside. Kason Harris and Stephen Clancy back in row 2. Cody King and Cody Brill will make up 5th and 6th. Israel Ortega and Dave Kennedy back in row 4, Brian McGowan and Trevor Fitz. You see the rest of your grid there on the Mel Hamilton Ford starting lineup. All the way down to Gabe Hodges and Chris Wright back in row 12, and Matt Wacht starting 25th. Say honest mistakes whenever you go through and get DQ'd. Can't remember who the driver was, but I actually ran into him at the parking lot up at Kansas Motor Speedway for a NASCAR race. Didn't know who it was. He was out there playing cornhole, and I heard him talking about where he was going to go race next week, and he talked about racing down in this area. Asked him a little bit about what he had. He said, yeah, I've got a car, bought it from a guy by the name of Mike Striegel. Took it out, ran really well, went through tech, got DQ'd. First thing I did was, and I didn't change anything on the car.
That's kind of a shocker. I can't believe that happened. The Wheatland Outlaw, it comes with consequences sometimes. Sometimes it's not, but this should be a pretty good feature right here.
Michael Taylor and Dan Hovden on the front row. MT3. For Michael, a lethal chassis, fast lane engine. 9 top 5s on the season for the pilot of the 6T. As they go firing off into turns 1 and 2, an easy D. Dan Hovden, top 10 in the USRA national point standings as 2 cars go up to the top side. You can see some damage on the left rear of one of those. As you see the lead cars coming off of turn number 4. 2 cars involved in the incident just barely creeping on the top side of turn 2. They are able to get off the track, but the Boone's Barbecue caution will come out. Did not get a lap in.
There's another car in front of this feature as well, Dan Hovden. He's from up there. Him and Ben Modry, they race each other all season up there, and he's had some tough luck this week too. So it's good to see him up towards the front too. That's a long haul, long way to go, and it's good to see them guys that, it's good to see them all do good, don't get me wrong. Man, when you drive a long way and you don't do good, it just flat stinks now.
Dan Hovden may not be doing well this weekend, but he did well all season long. Won the championship at Winneshiek, won the championship at Fayette County this year. That's the 5th one at Fayette, the 4th at Winneshiek. Has 18 wins on the year. He won the championship, won the USRA Nationals back in 2019. So Easy D has a list a mile long of accomplishments in the USRA ranks as well as at his local tracks up north.
He does do a good job. He is definitely one to be reckoned with up north. He's that raised chassis he's got it dialed in, that's for sure.
So I asked Ryan Gilmore when he was up here earlier, I said, take yourself out of the equation. If you couldn't vote for yourself in the B-Mod feature coming up on Saturday, who would you lay your money on? He mentioned you. He mentioned a couple other guys. I'll ask you the same question. If you could not pick yourself, who do you think's got the field covered, or give me 2 or 3 drivers to keep an eye on Saturday?
Well, to be honest, if I couldn't win the race to make a Cinderella story, I guess what have you, I'm gonna pull for JT Carroll to do an upset. If I couldn't win a race and he won that race, he would be one of them.
The slipper would fit on either your foot or JT Carroll's. His 2 cars deep in the field. Do a little hand-to-hand combat over in turn 3. 1 car is still stopped on the top side, and that will bring the Boone's Barbecue caution out yet again. Hobby Time Motorsport Safety Crew will go over and work on the 66. The spinner that brings out the caution. It is Chris Wright out of Chillicothe. You're starting on the pole. JT is going to start outside, or in the middle, I should say, of row 2. So he'll be up towards the front.
He'll have a good spot. Bobby Williams, he struggled all year to win a race and never did win a race at this racetrack, and ultimately won the championship because he was consistent, had a fast car, just missed a couple opportunities, and to see him win the other night was pretty neat. His dad's hard on him, a lot. Of course, all of our dads are hard on the kids at races, but to win a race finally over here, that's going to help his winner a lot better. But he's going to be tough. He starts right behind me, and J.C. Morton, he's within striking distance. I mean, that front 3 rows, there's not going to be any slouches, and I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be running scared to death. I'm going to be running like a rabbit being shot at with a 12 gauge. I'm gone.
Okay,
I'm going to go.
A little secret here. I've mysteriously turned the microphone off, so it's just you and me. Nobody else can hear us. You're going to be on the pole 3 wide. How are you going to start this race? You're going to go nice and slow? You're going to give the outside 2 lanes plenty of room before you dive into 4? What's your plan?
I'm going to drive it in easy, and then I'm probably going to move up enough to slow down the car on my outside, and then after that I have no plans. Just hold on. I've made plans in racing before, and every time I make a plan, it never works out. So I plan to do the best I can, keep all 4 wheels on it, and I think if I can do that, I got a race car this weekend that could win. I got confidence I can win it. I mean, that's what I'm here for, and it'd make a good winner for me if I could.
Well, a little difficult time getting this race really under full song. They've only ran and completed 1 lap so far. It is Dan Hovden out front, all by his lonesome. MT3, Michael Taylor has Kason Harris on his outside. Green back in the air, and we're back underway. Up the
Taylor
track
had a
goes
bad
MT3,
push.
yep.
Another Franklin car, this 510 Cody King. He's had a pretty good season too. He's coming strong.
We talk about the J2s, we talk about the Allens. The Franklin chassis, there's not a ton of them out there, not like what you see with all the others, but they are some of the most well-built chassis that are out there as a car spins on turn 4, and another caution comes out. Can't say enough about what Josh Franklin and those guys have done. Not really on a mass production side, but they put together some pretty fine cars out there too.
He really does. That whole family. Josh is a stand-up guy. He'll be the first to congratulate you if he outrun you, and he's got to see how many cows you want to let in. Per se, kind of a weird way of doing it, but you know what I'm saying. I mean, there's some of them you probably don't want to let in, but anyway, I look forward to him coming on. He's doing a good job out there.
Well, Dan Hovden's just hoping to get some laps clicked away. They've only done 2 so far. Stacked 3 wide. Brian McGowan to the inside. Now it's 4 wide. Here's John Sheets. You mentioned him. He heard you. He's answering the call.
Yeah, he's got a good race car. He's a little tight on the throttle, but he'll get his brakes dialed in here in a minute, and he's doing good. He's running right in the middle of that slick, staying out of that little rut. So he's coming. He's going to pass for 30. It looks like 3 wide.
Michael Taylor's car is starting to lose every bit of grip that he had. He was running top 3, and now he is just barely hanging on to 7th as John Sheets flies off of turn 4. Sheets is up to 3rd. Kason Harris drops back to 5th.
Yeah, the 6 car he didn't refire. He's got some tire issues or something's going awry on that car because he was really strong early, and he's really struggling to stay on the racetrack here.
I want to give you a chance to make a shout out to your kid, Tanner Cade, running the Midwest Mod most of the season. We've seen him run a stock car. He ran a stock car in one of the national events held here at Lucas Oil Speedway. First time for him to be able to drive a modified. Had a pretty good heat a little while ago before he got a little high, wide, and handsome over there in turn 2. Won't really talk about that, but you got a Willman on your hands. He's a pretty good hot shoe.
He does pretty good. He's young. I mean, not really. He's 26 years old now, but me and him are like night and day. You know, I'm a real calm, cool, collected racer, and he's strung out. He wide open. He don't have no. He just wide open. I mean, he needs. I need to start giving him some, whatever you want to give somebody to slow him down a little bit. But he does run. He does run wide open. Sometimes that works, but just jumping into an A mod like he's run into it, he's done okay. All the local we were working, he works for me as well, and then even a homeowner today called him, "Hey, Spinner." We showed up on the job and called Tanner Spinner, so he's getting a name for himself.
So it used to be Riddlin, and now,
Riddlin, that's the word I was looking for. I wasn't sure what to use.
It used to be
there.
Riddlin, but now in the world we're in, it's all sorts of gummies. You can go and get those on any corner you want to now.
Yeah, the door was open for that, but I wasn't sure what to put out there. Yeah, Riddlin, that's the word I was looking for. Looks like these top threes kind of set in for a little bit, coming up on halfway here. So looks like Hovden's kind of moving down the track, coming off the corner. So we'll see if that new line he's got working for him or not.
Hovden by almost a second over Cody King. Another second back to John Sheets, then another 2 seconds back to Stephen Clancy. So they have really gotten spread out amongst the top 7 or 8, and it is a single file line right now. No real side-by-side action anywhere on the track. Talk about the rut over there in turn 2. How do you use that to your advantage when you're trying to navigate that end of the track? Do you try to avoid it, find another line, or is there a way for you to goose it when you get that and give you a little bit of a push?
This rut that has developed down there, and I call it a rut. It's a long way from a rut. You can run under it, but me personally as a racer, I would probably avoid it, just not to upset my race car. But you can see that Cody King, he's running under it. He's turning down the hill here, making a pretty good charge for the lead here.
And the gutsy guys will actually try to use it to their advantage, try to get a little bit of a push on it with their accelerator. Whenever they hit it, they time it out, punch the gas whenever they get right over it, and it gives them a little bit of a shot off the turn. If
it's in the right place, you can use it as a pick for your competitor. You can, run beside him enough where he has to run through it and you don't. But that particular deal down there, there's no really advantage of running through it or not through it. So
that second advantage Dan Hovden had over Cody King is now down to a 10th. King to the inside, Hovden to the outside. Good run for Cody King. Not quite going to be able to do it that lap traffic in front of the top 2 cars. Now Cody King will grab the spot away from Easy D. Cody King used the inside to get around Dan Hovden. Back up the track he goes. Hovden tries to respond. He can't. And there you see the lap cars, and they're going to spin right in front of your race leaders. The 66 is the guilty party of spinning. He may have gotten some help to make that spin go around, so a tough break for Chris Wright.
Yeah, they were struggling to try to stay out of the leader's way. I'm sure they could feel the pressure coming, and they were both trying to get out of each other's way, I think.
And all of that happened right in front of your race leader and Cody King.
Yeah, I'm not sure that Hovden picked a good restart deal. If he can get a good fire here, he might, but if Sheets beats him into 1 right here, I think the preferred line's on the bottom here, so I think Dan Hovden may have put himself out to where he don't want to be right here.
Yeah, I don't think it took real long at all for Dan Hovden to figure that out. Because so. John Sheets, man, you called it. Nostradamus Striegel over here.
Well, that's just the way I would have played it the same way. I mean, you want to go on the outside? So Sheets is seeing it now. He's had a tough week. He's going to be hard to get back by right here.
Dan Hovden right now is out, and
Clancy.
He gets tagged. The 12 comes up and slides into him. Down the track he goes, runs into the 6 of Michael Taylor, the 53 of Tiana Mattoon. Also got a piece of that, and 1 car is still stopped, and it is the proverbial pinball of the 6T. He has been all over the track tonight. Michael Taylor, the 3rd, ends up getting the worst out of all of that, as the Kansas City, Missouri native who was looking for his first win of the season, not going to come tonight, as he is parked over there in turn 2.
He had a good run going early in this race. I mean, his race definitely flipped over, that's for sure. But being as I'm on the mic too, of course, and I'm not totally biased, but I am a little bit. These two cars running first and second are teammates, not teammates, but we all run the same motor, Eagle Machine. Give a shout out to them guys. They're running 1-2 in this race. JT Carroll's got an Eagle Machine. I have an Eagle Machine. So they have several motors in this. It seems to be running pretty good.
And he chooses to go to the inside. Go
shocker.
figure.
Shocker, shocker, shocker.
Cody King's going to dive to the inside.
The 16's got a different choice now. He's thinking about it, but yeah, it's just nothing out on the outside to get going.
Wrong place to be, and now John Sheets to the inside. Takes a peek around the 510 of Cody King, but now Cody King will check out, and John Sheets stays on the gas a little bit longer than what Cody King does. To the top side he goes. Going to try to do something different, get a run off of turn number 4 with 2 laps to go.
His Club 98 car getting into second. He's coming too. John Allen, he builds that race car over there in Chanute. He's coming.
Brian McGowan up into third. He looks to the inside of John Sheets. White flag a lap. Cody King's going to have this one covered. He will lock his way in the 510 into the A main on Saturday. They'll have their little go-kart race tomorrow to determine how everybody will line up on the outside row. But we know one of the drivers that's going to run is Cody King. He and John Sheets both lock their way in. Brian McGowan in third. Dan Hovden, he comes home in fourth, and it's Gabe Hodges in